Love is powerful. There is no such thing as a perfect relationship, but there is an ability to develop love that fulfills us. But you know what? We have to choose it.
Get your daily dose of motivation on the Motivational Moments with Michelle podcast. In Motivation with Michelle podcast, you'll get encouraging, uplifting, and life-changing wisdom that will transform your world at your fingertips, 24 hours a day. Get a fuller, deeper revelation of the tools you can implement to see incredible transformation in your life from Michelle Newstedter's powerful teachings. Tune in whenever you need to be edified, uplifted, or a dose of motivation, no matter where you are. Subscribe to Motivational Moments with Michelle podcast with Michelle Newstedter today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SoundCloud.
Hey there, and welcome to this Wednesday Word of Wisdom. My name is Michelle Newstedter, and I'm really glad that you are joining me here today. I want to talk about the L word. We all know what it is. L-O-V-E. Research suggests that love is addictive. See, we enjoy the feeling of being in love, that being in love, it creates this attraction that can be really hard for us to ignore. Our brain releases all sorts of hormones when we experience love, and those hormones, just like addiction, leave us wanting more. I read that dopamine, adrenaline, norepinephrine are all increased when two people fall in love. See, dopamine, it creates this feeling of euphoria, while adrenaline and norepinephrine are basically responsible for that pitter patter of our heart, that restlessness, that overall preoccupation that goes along with experiencing love. There's another research study that suggests that when it comes to love, dopamine isn't the only chemical that's out there as well. We get oxytocin levels that just surge through our system, which boosts feelings of attachment and safety and trust. In the long-term committed relationships, we see actually stress decrease over time, so less stress hormones, with all those positive love hormones that are just surging through our system. When we first fall in love, our stress levels actually go up. Falling in love can feel almost like a pretty high stakes situation, especially before we know what the other person feels, right? But a little bit of stress isn't always a bad thing. It motivates us. It makes us take those extra steps to woo the other person, to connect with them, to really bond with them. Now, just like my previous statements here, when we think about love, we tend to think about it as a romantic relationship. But humans can experience a number of different types of love in all sorts of different types of relationships. Now, the ancient Greeks, they studied love, they gave special names to them, and we are going to just walk through a few of them, most of them, and talk just a little bit about how that helps us. Because love affects each one of us uniquely, and in those, long-term committed relationships, we often feel all of the different types of love all together. And hey, if you're feeling disconnected, like you've lost that love and feeling, let's reignite the flame. Now, let's talk about LOVE, that exciting and sometimes elusive little friend that we all want. Oh, by the way, if you want a deeper dive into all of these, you can head over to my blog and read all about it. I left a little bit out in terms of what I wanted to share with you because it was getting way too long for this video. Now, Ludus is the first love that we're going to talk about. It's the playful love. It's this childlike, flirtatious love. Often we find it when we're in when we have like a crush on somebody, because it's flirtatious, it's fun, it comes without the strings, right, that are there when we have some of the more intense love, like the eros or the pragma love, right? It's like when two people are flirting, this type of love is like teasing and playful, laughter, that kind of thing, right? It can be common in like young couples, but you know what? We also see older couples who are striving for this kind of love just to find or create a more rewarding relationships. Your emotions allow you to feel giddy, to feel excited, interested, involved with the other person. And remember too, though, like crushes, they don't have to become this like serious relationship. Sometimes it's just fun to enjoy the flirtation, the, will we, won't we game. But if you're further on in your relationship, it can be fun to start to play the flirtatious type of game with one another once again in the relationship and kind of get back some of that like fun, creative energy that we had at the beginning. The next one I want to talk about is eros, which is basically romantic love. It's all about the romance and the passion and the attraction. It's a natural attraction, right, towards another person. It's that like intoxicating, thrilling emotion at the initial stage of the relationship. It's this passionate love that we display typically through our physical affection. This love that we, have for another person, but often it's more oriented towards the physical body. And unfortunately, it's one of the love pieces that we crave, but doesn't always evolve into like a compassionate love. So really, enjoy each other's company and the attraction that you feel for one another while it's fresh and new. Over time, this love will usually transition into another type of love. Now, just quickly, there's also mania love, which is a like codependent, obsessive type of love. So just notice any patterns of like possessiveness, codependent behavior, so that you can just nip that in the bud right away. Next, we're going to talk about philia. This is affectionate love. Philia is love that doesn't necessarily need romantic attraction. Love that comes from like deep, long-lasting friendship. You tend to feel really close to somebody that you have this philia love with. You will probably trust them. You'll probably confide in them. You'll probably have high respect for them. You can have philia love with your partner, but it's also found between friends and family. Basically, it occurs when both people share the same values and respect for one another. Being open, trustworthy, supportive. These are all indicative of developing that philia. So be vulnerable. Let people know what they mean to you. Spend quality time with people. Next, we've got pragma, which is like our enduring love. Pragma is the choice to love that has matured over time. It's the development of this like unshakable bond. Kind of like the name suggests, it's practical in nature. It's an everlasting love between a couple that's like grounded in duty and commitment and practicality. It's that 30-year comfort, commitment, dedication, contentment, caring, nurturing. It's a knowing that you have a lifelong partner. The earlier loves that I already discussed that we encounter in the movement in our relationship develop toward this as we continue to choose our partner, because strong, healthy relationships have both passion and compassion. So choose to work with your partner. Fight for the relationship rather than with one another. When that arrow starts to dwindle, it doesn't mean that you don't love or are in love with your partner anymore. remember that you can have both, but you have to choose this, and you have to seek and show effort with your partner, work together, communicate open and honestly. The next one that I want to talk about is storge, or familiar love. Storge is the naturally occurring love that's rooted in our early attachments, like between parents and children. It also occurs between best friends. It differs a little bit from philia in the way that it's reinforced by blood, early memories, familiarity. It's an infinite love that's built on acceptance and deep emotional connection. Even when we don't like our family, we still love them instinctively. You can create storge by sharing memorable experiences together. It is compassionate, it's protective, it's deeply rooted love. So work to strengthen your relationship with your family members. And you know what? We have to choose to forgive any of the past grievances, because our family is forever. The last one I wanted us to talk about is philosia love, which is self-love. It's when you recognize your self-worth, that you deserve self-compassion, and don't ignore your personal needs. Philosia has found its moment in the spotlight, so to speak, recently. And rightly so. Self-love begins with acknowledging that you have a responsibility for your own well-being, your own happiness. You allow yourself to reflect on things like your mental health, your emotional needs, your physical self-care. It might seem obvious, but the relationship that we have with ourselves is very important. It impacts on the rest of our relationships. It needs to be nurtured. Philosia is important for our confidence, for our self-esteem. It also impacts how we interact with the world, with our partner, with our family. Self-care allows us to have more love and energy to offer to those around us. If we recall the adage, you can't pour from an empty cup. So practice loving kindness. Lean into anything that allows you to give back, to help others while taking care of you. Love is powerful. There is no such thing as a perfect relationship, but there is an ability to develop love that fulfills us. But you know what? We have to choose it. We have to allow it. We have to let go of hurts. We have to let in a happy, healthy heart. This week we had Valentine's Day. Love is in the air. And, there's no perfect way to express it. But they do say what comes around goes around. So let's create that love. And if you need any support in the way of doing that, I do have my 3 crash courses that would be available to you at extremexcellence.ca. Okay, bye for now. Have you ever wondered what it would take to rejuvenate your relationship, to reignite that spark, to reconnect with your partner? Well, this crash course is that for you. I have taken out all of the guesswork. I have put together a simple, step-by-step, easy-to-follow curriculum that will take your relationship to the next level, wherever you are at. Whether you're struggling or you think your relationship is pretty good, but it could just use a little boost. These crash courses are going to give you the tools that you need in order to rejuvenate, reignite, and reconnect. Let's learn how to live love intentionally. Rejuvenate, reignite, and reconnect. Let's learn how to live love intentionally.
You be more fearless.
How can you anchor yourself to the truths you know, but you aren't living out?
Fearlessly Anchored Marriages is a program that will teach you to live love intentionally. Anything you want in life does not come accidentally.
So why would your relationship be any different?
Over the next 12 weeks, you will be exposed to some of the mindset blocks that could interfere with your current relationship. You will be coached to learn how to set boundaries, how to recognize opportunities, how to develop self-awareness, how to lead yourself and lead your relationship.
We've all been there. The struggle is real. We want to feel connected, heard, valued, and loved. Join us in transforming your relationship. Reignite the flame.
Reconnect. Refresh.
Fearlessly
Fearlessly anchored marriages. Let's live love
intentionally.